Marcus Webb walked through his front door at midnight, but he wasn't alone. His heart stopped. Someone was in his apartment. He could hear it. Movement in the kitchen. Water running. Dishes clinking. His hand went to his pocket. Every muscle tensed. He moved down the hallway. The kitchen light was on. Bright. Clinical. And there, at his sink, was a woman, washing his dishes. Her back to him. Dark hair tied back. Expensive blazer draped over his worn kitchen chair. She turned. Their eyes locked. Marcus's breath caught. It was Victoria Ashford, the CEO, the woman whose face was on the company building. The woman he'd never once made eye contact with in 3 years of working for her company. She was standing in his kitchen, washing his dishes. At midnight. "Mr. Webb," Victoria said quietly. Her voice trembled. "I know this isn't what you expected." Marcus couldn't move. Couldn't speak. "I came here because I need to tell you the truth," Victoria continued. "And I couldn't do it at the office. I couldn't send an email. I had to look you in the eye and tell you what's been done to you." "How did you get in my home?" Marcus's voice came out sharp. Angry. Violated. "Your landlord gave me the key." Victoria set down the plate slowly. "I told him it was a company emergency. Is this some kind of corporate PR stunt?" Marcus stepped closer, his mind racing. "You're the CEO? You don't visit employees. You don't clean their kitchens." "No." Victoria's hands were shaking now. "I don't. And that's the problem." She pulled out a chair and sat down. Her shoulders collapsed like she was carrying something too heavy to stand under. "3 days ago, I was reviewing department files," Victoria said. "Routine work. But then I noticed something wrong. Numbers that didn't add up. Salaries that didn't match hours worked. So I dug deeper." Marcus felt his stomach tighten. "Do you know why you work 70 hours a week?" Victoria asked. The question hung in the air like a blade. "Because we're short-staffed," Marcus answered. But his voice wasn't sure anymore. "You're not short-staffed," Victoria said coldly. "Your manager, Jeremy, has been creating phantom employees. Workers who don't exist. He's been collecting their salaries for 3 years. Over $250,000. Marcus gripped the counter. "And while he's stealing," Victoria continued, "he's making you cover the work of 4 people. Because you're the only one good enough to actually do it without anyone noticing." The words hit like punches. "That's not all," Victoria said, her voice cracking. "Your performance reviews, the ones keeping you stuck, they're fake. Your real efficiency rating is 8. 7 out of 10. That's exceptional. But Jeremy's been reporting you at 3. 2%. He's made you look incompetent to keep you compliant." Marcus felt the room tilt. 3 years. 70 hours a week. Missing Isaiah's birthday. Missing school conferences. Collapsing on the couch at night, too exhausted to stay awake. And it was all a lie. 3 years, Marcus whispered. 3 years of believing I wasn't good enough. "I know," Victoria said, and tears were streaming down her face. "And I should have seen it. I should have known. But I didn't. I was too focused on profit margins to see what was actually happening to the people who make those profits possible." "When did you find out?" Marcus asked. 3 days ago. "And you fired him?" "Yesterday morning, I confronted him. He denied everything. So I brought in forensic auditors." Victoria's eyes flashed with anger. "By yesterday afternoon, I had everything. Emails, bank records, proof. He's fired. He's facing criminal charges." Marcus wanted to feel relief. He wanted to feel vindicated. But all he felt was hollow. "But here's what really broke me," Victoria said, standing up. "I spent last night going through every department. Every single one. Jeremy isn't alone. There are 14 managers doing exactly what he's doing. 14. And they've been doing it under my watch because I built a system that allows it." She moved closer. "I built a company where executives don't see people, where they only see numbers. And I let that happen for 20 years. Marcus studied her face, looking for lies, finding only devastation. "Why come here?" he asked. "Why not just fix it at the office?" "Because when I read your file," Victoria said, her voice breaking, "when I saw that you're a single father, that you lost your wife 4 years ago, that you've been raising Isaiah alone while being systematically exploited by my company, something inside me shattered." She took a shaky breath. "I realized I couldn't send a memo. I couldn't schedule a meeting. I had to stand in front of you and take responsibility for what's been done to you." The silence stretched between them. "I found something in your office," Victoria said. She pulled out a photograph. It was a butterfly drawing. Isaiah had made it in 3rd grade. Marcus kept it tucked behind his computer monitor. This was hidden in your desk, Victoria continued. A drawing of a butterfly from your son. And I realized something. You kept it secret because you didn't want anyone to know you have someone at home who depends on you. Someone you love more than anything. Because loving someone that much makes you vulnerable. And vulnerability gets exploited. Marcus felt his chest tighten. That stops now, Victoria said. I'm here to tell you that you were right. Your son is everything. And what you sacrificed for him matters. What's been stolen from you matters. The front door opened. Small footsteps. A familiar voice. Dad? Dad, I'm home. I wanted to surprise you. Isaiah appeared in the kitchen doorway, still in his school uniform, eyes wide, confused. His gaze landed on Victoria. Dad, who is that lady? Marcus's mind spun. How could he explain this? How could he tell his son that the CEO of the company that's been stealing from them just showed up at midnight to confess? Isaiah, this is Victoria, Marcus said carefully. She works at my company. You look sad, Isaiah said, studying Victoria with brutal honesty. Why are you sad? Victoria's entire expression shifted. She smiled, but it was fragile. I made some people sad, she said, without meaning to, and I'm trying to fix it. Isaiah nodded seriously. My teacher says sorry is the most important word. Did you say sorry? I'm trying to, Victoria whispered. Marcus's mother appeared in the doorway, her expression sharp. She'd read the situation in seconds. Well, she said slowly, this is interesting. Isaiah, come on. Let's get you to bed. You have school tomorrow. But Dad, come on, sweetheart, his grandmother said, shooting Marcus a look that promised they would discuss this later. After they left, the apartment fell quiet. Marcus turned to Victoria. What do you want from me? Nothing you don't want to give, Victoria said. But I'm offering something. Full restitution. 3 years of back pay at the salary you should have been earning. That's approximately $180,000. Marcus's head spun. $180,000. And a new position, Victoria continued. Director of Operations. You'll oversee the restructuring of all our protocols. Make sure this never happens again. Victoria, I don't have. You have 3 years of experience managing a department designed to fail. And you didn't fail. You survived. You thrived, actually, just without credit. She met his eyes. You're more than qualified. And what do you get? Marcus asked. What's the narrative here? The narrative, Victoria said quietly, is that I failed, and I'm spending my tenure fixing it. No press release. No announcement. Just the people affected. Marcus moved to the window. Outside, the city lights stretched endlessly. How many other employees were out there right now? Working 70 hours a week, believing they weren't good enough, sacrificing their families for companies that didn't see them. I need time, Marcus said, to think about it. Take all the time you need, Victoria said. She gathered her things. I'll have HR send the details. No obligation. She moved toward the door, then stopped. Your son asked me if I said sorry, Victoria said. The truth is, I'm not sure sorry is enough. But it's all I have, and I'm hoping it's a start. After she left, Marcus stood alone in his kitchen. On the table lay 3 documents. First, a letter of apology from Victoria, handwritten. Second, the offer letter. Director of Operations. Salary, $185,000. Benefits, reasonable hours. Third, a bank transfer authorization. $180,000. Already processed. Effective immediately. Marcus stared at the numbers. He could pay off his apartment. He could take Isaiah somewhere. He could breathe for the first time in 3 years. But something else was happening inside him. Something he didn't expect. He wasn't just angry anymore. He was confused. Because Victoria Ashford had shown up at midnight, had confessed, had stood in his kitchen and taken responsibility without excuses, had offered real change, not corporate theater. Who does that? The next morning, Marcus didn't go to work. He called his supervisor and said he needed a personal day. Then he called HR and asked them to set up a meeting with Victoria, not to accept or decline, just to talk. They met at a coffee shop, not the office. Victoria was already there, sitting at a corner table, looking like she hadn't slept. She probably hadn't. Thank you for meeting me, she said as Marcus sat down. I read the bank transfer, Marcus said. The money is real. You actually did it. Yes. Why? You could have offered a raise and called it fair. You could have promoted me without the back pay. Why all of it? Victoria took a breath. Because I tried to calculate what 3 years of your life is worth. Your time with your son, your health, your peace of mind. And I realized there's no number high enough. So I gave what I could. Marcus studied her. And the position? The oversight role? I genuinely need your help, Victoria said. The company needs someone who understands what it's like to be on the other side of exploitation. Someone who will fight to make sure it doesn't happen again. What if I mess it up? Then we fix it together, Victoria said simply. Something shifted in Marcus then. Not forgiveness, exactly, but a crack in the wall he'd built around himself. A possibility that maybe, just maybe, this was real. I'll do it, Marcus said. The position, the changes, all of it, but on one condition. Name it. No corporate speak. No PR moves. If we're going to change this company, we do it quietly. For the people, not for the headline. Victoria's eyes filled with tears. Deal. The weeks that followed were chaos. Marcus and Victoria spent hours together reviewing department files, identifying more corruption, building new accountability measures. They argued. They disagreed about strategy. But they worked. Really worked. And slowly, Marcus realized something. Victoria wasn't just trying to fix her guilt. She was trying to become someone different. Someone who actually saw people. It started small. She'd ask Marcus about Isaiah. Not in a corporate interest way, but genuinely. Like she actually cared. And Marcus would tell her stories. About his son's science project. His favorite book. The way he still asked about his mother sometimes. And how Marcus tried to explain that some people go to heaven. But that doesn't mean they stop loving you. And Victoria would listen. Really listen. One evening, after a late strategy session, Marcus invited Victoria to dinner. Just him, Isaiah, and her. Nothing formal. Just family dinner. Victoria showed up nervous, holding a stack of comic books she thought Isaiah might like. Isaiah opened the door and stared at her. "You're the sad lady," he said. Victoria laughed. "I guess I am. Are you still sad?" Victoria knelt down to his level. "A little bit. But I'm getting better. My dad makes me feel better when I'm sad," Isaiah said. "He tells jokes and makes cookies and lets me watch extra cartoons." "That sounds like a good strategy," Victoria said. "Do you want to try it?" And just like that, Isaiah took her hand and led her to the kitchen. Dinner was chaotic. Victoria burned the garlic bread. Isaiah spilled juice twice. Marcus laughed, actually laughed, for the first time in years. After Isaiah went to bed, Marcus and Victoria sat on the fire escape outside his apartment. "He called me Vicky," Victoria said softly. "Just once, but he did. Is that okay?" "More than okay," Victoria said. She turned to face him. "Marcus, I need to tell you something. And I need you to know that I'm not saying this because of guilt or gratitude or any corporate obligation." Marcus waited. "I'm falling in love with you," Victoria said. "With you and Isaiah. With the family you've built. And I know it's complicated, and I know there are power dynamics to navigate, but I can't keep pretending I feel nothing." Marcus felt his heart shift. "I'm terrified," Victoria continued. "Terrified that I'll mess this up, that I'll fall back into old patterns, that I'll hurt you or Isaiah or both of you." "Welcome to being human," Marcus said. He reached for her hand. "That's called being alive." Over the next 6 months, everything changed. Victoria restructured the entire company. 14 corrupt managers were fired. Nearly 300 employees received back pay. And the company's profits actually increased because, as it turned out, treating people fairly made them work better. But the real change happened in 3 people who went from broken to whole. A single father learned that he was valued. A boy learned that people could show up and stay. And a CEO learned that success wasn't measured in quarterly reports. It was measured in the eyes of a child who looked at her and saw someone worth staying for. By month 7, Marcus and Victoria moved in together. Not rushing, just building. Slowly, carefully. By month 9, Victoria asked Marcus to dinner. She'd cooked. Terribly, but she'd tried. Isaiah giggled through the whole meal. After he went to bed, Victoria pulled out a small velvet box. "I know it's fast," she said, her voice shaking. "I know we haven't been together very long. But Marcus, when I'm with you and Isaiah, I know exactly who I want to be." She opened the box. Inside was a simple, elegant ring. "I want to spend my life proving that I choose you. Both of you. Every single day." Victoria's eyes were filled with tears. "Will you marry me?" Marcus pulled her close and kissed her on that fire escape, the city lights spinning around them. "Yes," he whispered. "1,000 times yes." 1 year later, they stood at the altar, not in a fancy church, in the community center where Marcus first learned to believe in himself, where Isaiah went to after-school programs, where Victoria had started volunteering, teaching financial literacy to kids from low-income families. Isaiah stood between them, holding rings on a small pillow, and when the officiant asked if anyone objected, Isaiah raised his hand. "I have something to say," he announced seriously. The room laughed. "I think Victoria is the best person in the whole world, and I'm glad she's going to be my mom." Victoria looked at Marcus, then at Isaiah, and broke down completely. The kiss at the altar was tender and real and full of promise. As they walked back down the aisle together, hands linked, Marcus, Victoria, and Isaiah, someone in the audience whispered to their companion, "That's a CEO who lost everything to find what actually matters." But that wasn't quite right. Victoria hadn't lost anything. She'd finally found something. A family, a son who called her mom, a partner who believed in her when she didn't believe in herself, a home. Years later, Marcus would think back to that night. That shocking, impossible night when the CEO of his company walked into his kitchen at midnight and changed everything. He'd tell the story to their kids, both the biological one and the adopted ones they brought into their family. And he'd always say the same thing. Sometimes the person who hurts you is also the person brave enough to admit it. And sometimes, if you let them, they become the family you never knew you needed. Victoria built a foundation after that, the Ashford Recovery Initiative. It helped employees who'd been exploited by corporate corruption. It ran support groups for single parents. It trained young people from low-income backgrounds for management roles. And every single year, on the anniversary of that first night, Marcus and Victoria would sit on the fire escape, the same fire escape where they'd first talked about the impossible. And they'd say thank you, for honesty, for second chances, for the courage to change, for love found in the most unexpected place, not in the corner office, not in a corporate boardroom, but in a small apartment kitchen, where one woman washed another's dishes and changed everything. Sometimes life doesn't give you what you expect. Sometimes it gives you better. Sometimes it gives you exactly what you've been missing all along. A person willing to fight for you. A family willing to take a chance. A love worth every scar, every doubt, every moment of vulnerability. This is that story, and it's only the beginning.